Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So for the Nier series' 15th anniversary, the Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu did a feature. Included in that was a 2-page spread of Reincarnation, which serves as an introduction/overview, and I thought I would go over what is in there. I was curious how they would present the game since it was a mobile game that is now no longer playable. Let's have a look. We'll start by looking at the spread overall. We have the final of the 3 key visuals by Yoshida Akihiko on the left. Also on the left, we have a few screenshots from the first 2 arcs. And then the right page is devoted to the final arc, People World, with an overall Nier timeline on the far right. I will not go over the timeline. It's not that interesting, to tell the truth, unless you are an obsessive trying to experience or pick up every single Nier-related release. On this spread, it's interesting that most of the focus is on the People World arc. I would expect a little more of the first arc with Fio and Lavanya, but I get it. In the grand scheme of the Nier universe, it's the 3rd arc that is most directly related. The title across the top says, "The story of limitless possibilities that takes place after Automata." And I was like, whoa, spoiler alert. This was an idea that for the first 2 years of the game, us players were wondering when on the Nier timeline Reincarnation took place, and if it was even on the same timeline, if it were truly canon, after which endings of Replicant and Automata it took place, but right here in the title, it's confirmed. The main blurb under the title says, Reincarnation was a mobile game released 2021 and shut down 2024. The developer was Applebot. In the world of the Cage, the Girl and the Monster arc, the Sun and the Moon arc, and the People in the World arc play out. In the 3rd arc, events that take place after Automata happen, and her and him from Replicant's E-ending also appear, so Reincarnation touches on the other 2 works in the Nier series. In addition to the main story, there are stories sleeping in weapons, and we can enter them, and they look like a storybook style. We can look at the stories of the main characters and solve mysteries like what is the Cage. Then we have screenshots below that. On the upper left it shows battle. The caption says, "Battle is turn-based, command battle, and we can have a party of 3 characters, and the graphics have a sense of depth and realism." Next to it is a scene from Akiha's main story. The caption says, "The weapon stories cover a variety of ages and lands, with both Western and Eastern tastes deepening on the main character." Then below that they have kind of PR blurbs about Sun and Moon. On the left it says, "Lunar Tears Bloom, we may remember this place." The upper right says, "In the Sun-Moon arc, we see events from both the siblings Hina and Yuzuki's points of view." And the bottom says, "After restoring the Sun and the Moon, can we avoid the tragic end?" Interesting that they show Girl Monster, but don't talk about it here, really. Then on the right page, the header says, "The secrets of the Cage and the characters are revealed." In the People and the World arc, it's revealed that the Cage is a server on the Moon, the purpose of which is to hold the history of humanity, and that the characters we had been seeing are data stored in the server. Maintaining the server is 10H, featured in the short story A Much Too Silent Sea, and with her, we establish a path between the Moon and the Earth. There, we meet her from Nier Replicant, version 1.22. What is the purpose of her? What happens to everyone afterwards? That is a very general summary of what happens, and people who want to know more, please check out the Reincarnation Materials book. And here I think it's important to note that this basically signals the stance of the Nier team, and it's my stance as well. Reincarnation no longer exists as a game, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist at all. Reincarnation has morphed as an entity from a game to a book. Unfortunately, the book is only in Japanese, but I and others are doing what we can to translate it so that it exists in English form. It's a fascinating idea to consider, something changing forms of media, but there it is, and the ethereal nature of mobile games enables that to happen. It's far from ideal, but it's just interesting to note. Below that, we have some screenshots and more teasers. The one on the right says, "Have chance meetings with the inhabitants of the world of memories and in the real world." At the bottom, it teases, also included, the relationship between her and the girl in red. Finally, in the center it says, Mama, who helped us restore memories in the cage, turns out to be 10H's support, Pod 006. Then there is the final blurb at the bottom. There are infinite possibilities in this world, says the header. It says the cage that stores the history of humanity. There are many timelines or parallel worlds. The Nier world continues off of one of the Dragon endings, and we can see interference from the See No Alice world, the mobile game where Yoko Taro was a creative director. There is not only one story or one ending in Yoko Taro's world, so there is a lot to enjoy, it says. And that's that. Most notable takeaways, I think, are the focus on Reincarnation's connections to the other two Nier games, rather than focusing on the in-game stories, and the suggestion to seek out the materials book for more information. The first makes sense in this context, with the entire series in view, but I still think it's sad that very moving, very engaging stories like Fio and Lavania's are barely commented on. And the second is interesting because, again, it asserts that reincarnation still exists, but in a different medium. Alright, that will do it for the feature and this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.